Those two had trained really well. They were excellent against Orlando, so they deserve their opportunity to start, and that's the culture I want here. If you train well, then you get opportunities to play, and that goes across the squad. So, yeah, very comfortable with that, the decision of those two guys starting.
We'll go ahead and go to Braden Norris.
Hey Matt, good to see you. Thank you for the time. I'm sure
No
you
problem.
probably didn't expect your first half as a manager to go quite like that. Curious how you handled the halftime talk. Out of all of the things that happened, the reviews, the cards, the injuries, the stoppage time. What do you even start with there?
I mean, definitely none of that stuff was mentioned at half time. Absolutely no issue with referee injury time, added time. The concern for me first half was how we showed up, our performance. Didn't recognise it at all. Not seen elements of that even in our training. So yeah, the full half time was spent on debriefing that, analysing that, and then trying to give the lads some solutions for how we could improve second half and try to help them channel some intensity into the game, because first half the lack of intensity, we want to be a pressing team, and I didn't see any pressing first half. I think the two times we arrived on the press, they gave the ball away, and even then we were pretty half-hearted. So yeah, I was not impressed with that. Neither was I impressed with our build-up. So there was lots to correct at half time. A lot of that being the attitude, but also some tactical bits as well. And yeah, second half was marginally better in terms of, at least it was a poor imitation of ourselves, but at least I recognised it.
We'll go to Matt Wickham.
Hey, Coach, could you? You said that it was a shadow of what you expected. Where do you think the system goes from here?
I know we go in the same vein. We get back on the right path, because tonight certainly first half was an anomaly in terms of, and I hope it will definitely stay that way. I'll ensure that it does. Because I didn't recognise anything in terms of how we pressed the game. I didn't recognise anything really of our tactical plan. And then with the ball, we were a combination of scared, fearful, and also passive, which of course is not a good combination. So it was about adjusting those things at half time, but trying to give them, of course, some tactical solutions to try and channel that based off how Seattle were pressing. And as you can see, second half we had a lot more territory. We were able to progress to their half, but then we lacked conviction and ruthlessness in our 1v1s on the side of the pitch. We didn't attack the box well when crosses came in, and it wasn't until Alex Harris came into the game that I saw a player playing with the correct level of intensity, enthusiasm, energy. So yeah, a good night for Alex Harris, but not so much for the rest of the squad.
We'll go to Keith Richards.
Hi, Coach. With playing out of them back, it seemed like Seattle was ready for that from the get-go. I know you say you didn't make much adjustments at halftime. It seemed like it was a little better in the second half, but they still gave you fits about that. Is that something that needs to be addressed? Was it just they're a really good team, or is it something tactically that needs to be changed?
No, it's not about changing. It's about making the right process, which obviously takes more than 4 weeks for the guys to recognise in the moment what passes to play at the right time. And but it's not a case of changing course. Obviously, they're quite flexible with their pressing. Sometimes it's 9 and 10. Sometimes it's one centre midfielder up. So when they only put one centre midfielder up, we had 2v1 with our pivots, and we didn't find the second pivot well enough. But then at times they pushed the second midfielder up. Then it was about finding Paxton and Rafa in between the lines. And every time if we made the right choice with the pass, we then got the touch wrong, or we were too flicky with possession. We were nowhere near secure enough. And then at times when they were narrow and we had to build on the outside, same thing really. Again, until I thought Manyoma came in and again just were able to progress up the pitch, because he looked tight with his first touch and usually dropped inside and found the right offload, and then we were able to switch the play and instantly you have territory and you jab them back. But if you don't get the basics right technically, in combination with the fact that obviously for a while we're not going to have perfect tactical recognition, because it's going to take a lot longer than 4 weeks. But yeah, those were the issues. Again, we changed a couple of things at half time, and that seemed to help our build up, but still nowhere near the level that it has been and I expect it to be.
We'll go to Patrick Radigan.
Matt, thanks for the time.
No problem, Patrick.
Obviously, goals change games, and early on to get that goal against you kind of took a lot of the wind out of the sails in the game. Just what did you see in that moment? Is it more pressure on the ball? Is it trying to pick up markers in the box? And what was your read on what happened on that first goal?
Yeah, I mean, we completely switched off. Obviously, the ball went through to the other side of the box, and we made the incorrect assumption the ball was going out, so we didn't close down quick enough and stop the cross. Then we left we're all in the wrong position in the penalty box. Obviously, Noah's way too far forward, so the space in behind him, and then someone arrives unmarked and scores a header. So, but to be honest, the goal didn't really change the game for me. I wasn't happy with everything we were doing before the goal. I think that was a matter of time. I think everything about me at this stage, I don't expect it to be perfect. That would be very naive of me. We're so early into the process, but I expect to see the identity and the personality and the mentality to turn up and play our football and embody this vision that I have of us being a big team. We didn't show that certainly for the first 45 minutes tonight, and as I say, second half at least we had the correct identity, but then we were just really poor within that identity. So, but that's definitely a step up from what we delivered in the first half. So for me, it's about analysing the game now, and then making the correct decisions and to change the lineup. Every shirt's available for the Portland game for sure.
Back to Braden.
Yeah, Matt, one of the changes at halftime was bringing Keegan on, and for some stretches of the second half, he kind of did his best impression of a number 9. Can you just, not really something that we've seen before. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
That's just about attacking the spaces. When we made our second phase build-up shape, their left-back was extremely narrow, and the outball in the first half was to Dante, but we were never connected when the ball arrived with Dante. We were too late to make the inside run, so it was a tactical change to give us more impetus with the ball to get us to the byline, and obviously you saw that a couple of occasions. Second half down the right hand side, we still didn't do it enough in the right moment. We either didn't play the pass or we did play the pass, but players were in the wrong positions. And but as I say, I'll tolerate those things because that's about tactical cohesion that's going to take a long time for it to be to the level that I will get it to. But what I won't tolerate certainly is the first half performance in terms of a lack of energy, intensity, mentality to press. I mean, the amount of second balls and duels that we lost, the amount of tackles that we jumped out of will never ever be a feature of this team. I'll ensure that. So I need to analyse it. I need to give the players the right feedback, and we need to make sure there's a much improved version of us from the mentality side and the aggression side come the Portland game.
Back to Matt Pollard.
Matt, I've got a question, nothing to do with the game tonight. Yesterday, the club parted ways with Sam Vines. Walk me through what you saw from him in preseason, and from your perspective, what led to that decision to where he wasn't going to be a part of the club this year.
Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward one really. I came in to make decisions, and this is, I've said before, I think on the Cole Bassett stuff, this is a period of change for the club. I'm going to move this club forward. I'm going to give this organisation the level of respect that it deserves, and part of that is putting an identity in terms of a football team on the pitch, and it's been an open book for everyone. Everyone's had the chance to earn their shirts and make the right impression, and so far Jackson had an incredible pre-season, even though he was off it tonight, and then obviously Miguel coming through the door. I only want 2 players at left back, so that contributed to the decision, and now it's about us moving on, shaping the squad further, because tonight you see, and we're working hard behind the scenes, we need reinforcements. You see the depth they're bringing off the bench and the impact that had on the game. So we need to do that. But also I need to create an environment here where there is no hierarchy, and anyone who comes on and performs like Alex Harris should definitely start the next game, as long as he trains well this week. I've just told him in the dressing room the shirt's his. So that's the environment here. That's the culture that we will have here. That's what high performance is, and I'll be relentless in the pursuit of that, and especially after tonight, we need to go up a gear this week.
Back to Matt Wickham.
Coach, can you talk about the run Hamzat took up the field and then took the shot? What did you think of that aggressiveness versus passing off to Dante? And then how was his head after that ball to the temple, and how did you think Wayne filled in for him?
Yeah, no concerns. I've not had a chance to catch up with the doctors, but yeah, no concerns from anyone. I don't think from a from a medical stance tonight. I think in my mind we probably didn't hit the intensity levels to risk an injury. So we need more than that. We need a much higher level of intensity, aggression. That the run from Hamzat was a small moment in the first half where the shackles were off and we were positive and we were aggressive and we won a duel. There were I mean, every single lost ball fell to a Seattle shirt, and if you look at us positionally, we're in pretty good positions. It's a facet of the game that we've worked hard on pre-season, because we know how, if you want to be a possession team, you have to be incredible on second balls, because also the opposite side of our possession is our pressing, even though we didn't see that first half. When we do that well, we're going to force teams to go long. We need to then manage the second ball, be in position, be strong in the duels, and we were none of those things in the first half. So that Hamzat example you used was a rare glimpse of that, but they were way too few and far between, and that's something we have to improve.
We have just enough time for a few more. We'll go back to Keith Richards.
Coach, just wanted to have your thoughts on what you thought of Dante Sealy in his first match. Seemed to struggle a little bit. Maybe with a little bit of jitters, or what did you think of his performance?
No, I thought he was pretty much on par with every other player, and but below his usual standard. I think everyone on the pitch. My frustration, one of my biggest frustrations, was the lack of solutions on the pitch from a personality perspective. It took until the substitutions, each substitute moved the game forward. I don't think anyone could dispute that. That to me it's a good sign for the guys coming on, but it's very frustrating for me in terms of we're not going to be a successful team this season if that's the level of personality that we have. We have to be able to affect things on the pitch in the moment. Otherwise, you're always waiting for me to intervene. You're always waiting for half time. You're always waiting for me to make a double sub, a triple sub. Truth be told, with the concussion, I said at half time, with the concussion sub, I could have made six substitutions at half time, and no one could have accused me of being unfair. So we have Dante's just, well, I wouldn't single out individuals tonight. We as a group, me included, were way off the level that we have set, by the way. It's not a level that's unattainable. It's a level that we have set in pre-season. It's a level that we delivered last weekend against Orlando. And a lot of those positive aspects that we showed last weekend were missing tonight for 45 minutes. So that's something we'll address this week, and we'll be a much better version of ourselves come Saturday.
We'll go to the last question with Matt Wickham.
Coach, you're very frank in your analysis and own up to the faults and the successes. What will you tell fans ahead of the Portland game next weekend to get them ready to see this team?
Yeah, I think they should be excited. They should have the same level of excitement that I've got. Right now, I've got a lot of anger, but I consider anger a positive emotion. I just said to the players in there, I'd much rather those guys be angry, because anger leads to feedback, anger leads to solutions, anger leads us to moving forward. So we have to make sure that the biggest victims of our poor performance tonight is Portland. We have to make sure we turn up this week to train a much better version of ourselves, get back in terms of playing our football, recover our identity, show our intensity throughout the training week, and then that will naturally follow on to the weekend. I've got a lot of selection headaches based off what I saw tonight, so it's going to be an exciting week for me to see how the guys train, how they respond, and then it's about us putting our identity on the pitch on the weekend. I don't want anyone to mistake me, and I'm not naive. I've been here 4 weeks, so I know for sure the complexity of the game model that we're going after. There's going to be mistakes in the build-up. We're going to concede goals from build-up. There's going to be mistakes in the mid-third when we don't arrive in the right positions. There's going to be mistakes in terms of attacking the box, because I'm asking for a high level of cohesion. There's going to be mistakes in terms of the pressing and the wrong player pressing at the wrong moment. There's going to be mistakes in terms of our compactness, our defensive line. All of these things I'm willing to accept, because they're natural courses of evolution. Where we are at the moment, there's no way anyone could expect it to be perfect. What I will not accept is the lack of personality, the lack of intensity, the lack of aggression that was on display in the first half. That for me should be set in stone from this moment forward, and it will be. So I can guarantee to the fans, at the very minimum, they'll see against Portland a much more committed, aggressive, high-intensity performance, because that's who we are. We just weren't that for the first 45 minutes tonight. I've got to work out why, and I'll be analysing the game as of tonight and tomorrow to get the answers to that, and then I'll give the feedback to the guys and trust me, come Saturday, we'll see a much more exciting, energetic, aggressive version of ourselves. But we're on the right path. Just said that to the players there. We continue. We have the right level of anger to motivate ourselves to train well this week and to improve come the weekend in front of our fans. I'm excited for that. And by the way, our fans were incredible tonight. I could hear them from where I was sat on the bench, which is ridiculous. And I'm just sad we didn't repay them with a proper performance, at least for the first 45 minutes. So we'll make sure all of that's corrected by Saturday.